What is up, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is episode 52 of the Life of Gaming podcast. My name is Jamie, and I'll be your captain on this cruise of video game awesomeness. And you all know my co-host, the man to my right, Mr. David Pumpkins.
Hello, everybody. I'm David Pumpkins. Dude, James, when you showed that to me, that was awesome.
Dude, that was, oh my gosh. It was on Saturday Night Live, man. It was so random, but it's so popular now.
Those are the best things when they're just random, like just some guy in a pumpkin suit. Tom Hanks.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
And just because it was Tom Hanks, hilarious.
Agree.
Oh, man. And to my left, you all remember him from last time, our show's very own Donald Trump, Mr. Chris White.
I can't really make my mouth look like a butthole, though.
Or your eyes look like lips. Oh, there we go.
So.
Not bad. But we brought you back.
The problem is I don't have any women to grow, so that's...
Oh, well, you have us here across the interwebs.
You know, we brought you back so you could repent of all those horrible, horrible things.
I can't wait to talk about Switch. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Let's do it.
Oh,
what are we doing,
man.
James?
So many fans are just like, who is this guy?
Yeah. That's all right. You can tweet at Neo Lego.
That's right. All your hate mail over to that guy.
That's right.
But,
That's right.
Okay, let's kick the show off with what we've been playing. So, Chris, let's just kind of start off with you, man.
Yeah, this is gonna be a real quick for me. I spent the week in New York City. Had a work trip.
New York,
So,
New York.
yeah.
I think I just heard the sounds of an angel.
No, that's what's her name? Forget her name.
Josh.
Alicia, that's Alicia Keys, right?
That too. Yeah.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah, Alicia
Empire
Keys.
State.
There we go.
Yeah, Empire State. Come on.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
So last week we talked about my debacle with my 3DS, which
Right.
was I was planning on spending my whole trip playing, and that did not happen. So I ended up just messing around with a couple of iPad games. I play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes quite a bit, so that was fun. And then I jumped back into KOTOR, which I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I have KOTOR on the iPad, which is actually a really good port. I mean, to get that whole game on an iPad and be able to play it smooth is really cool. Let me tell you what I did do though. I got back into Pokemon Go.
Oh, wow.
So here's the thing. There was a lot of hate. I had a lot of hate at Pokemon Go after it came out.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. You're the only person
This guy has a lot of hate.
that hated
Right.
Pokemon
That's
Go.
right. I love the concept of Pokemon. I love the concept of being able to take it into the real world and interact with it. But it really penalizes you if you are not in a city. And I live in a suburb of Dallas, about 40 miles outside of Dallas. And so it's a small town. And when you look at the map on Pokemon Go, there's literally not anywhere around that has, I mean, like the closest Pokestop is about 3 miles. And look, I'm not walking 3 miles a day just to pick up, a couple of extra Pokeballs.
Weedles,
right?
yeah.
And
Sure.
so I played until I threw all my Pokeballs out, and then I was kind of done. And
Sure.
anytime I was out, like on the weekend or something, I would try to pick up, if I thought about it. And but it really just kind of disappointed me. And I was like, what is this? Who is this game for?
Sure.
I went to New York. My first day in New York. By the time I got back to my hotel and was getting ready to settle in, I had just based on Pokestops, I had 173 Pokeballs in one day.
Right.
So and so this week they launched the Halloween update, which makes Ghastly and
Haunter.
Gengar and Haunter really popular, I guess more
Prevalent.
available and prevalent.
Yep.
And so I caught about 60 of those. Plus, when you catch them, you get six of their candies, the Ghastly candies, rather than just what you normally get is 3.
Oh,
So you're
really?
able,
Okay.
you're able to evolve them quicker. I caught Anyway, I caught like 17 different Pokemon that I didn't have when I was there, and I played it the whole entire week, and it was a ton of fun. and then I get home and I'm like, I have nothing to do with the game anymore. So go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of funny because I live in a small town, but
I was born in a small town.
this is like Music Hour by the Brandts Band. I mean, that's
You guys are just feeding into
background.
it.
it.
Is we gotta stop talking and just let him sing.
He kind of reminds me of a Tiny Dancer.
But for Pokemon Go, like I live in a small town, but in my last job, I mean, I started a new job somewhat recently, but in my previous job, on my way to work, on my drive onto work, there were like 3 distinct stoplights on my way where I knew when I stopped there, if I had Pokemon Go on, there was a Pokestop there, so I could hit like 3 Pokestops on the way to my job. And the fun thing was, my job was literally almost out in the middle of a field. Like, it was like out in the middle of nowhere. But,
Just this random big
right.
building.
my desk in the middle of the
tower.
field. But the funny thing was, I would sit in my office, and I would just have my phone on, and I'd turn on Pokemon Go, and like, every 10 or 15 minutes, how it would refresh what you caught, the area would kind of refresh. And for some reason, it was all water Pokemon. It was like Squirtles and Staryus, and yeah, which was really bizarre. It was Squirtles and Staryus and Horseys and like all these water Pokemon. It was just so strange. And this is kind of strange. One of the stops I had, one of the stoplights was next to like this trailer park, and the phone will vibrate when Pokemon are nearby. And by the trailer park, there were only ever cats and ghosts.
Like Meowth.
Oh yeah, it was Meowth and then like Ghastlies. It was really strange,
Nice.
but that was my Pokemon Go experience.
Yeah,
Stereotyping in Pokemon.
But hey, Chris, before we hop out of onto Brandt,
Sure.
tell us about your trip. Where did you go? What store did you go to?
I went for business and I was very, very, very busy. But one of the things I wanted to make sure that I did was stop by the Nintendo store, which is now called Nintendo NYC. And the last time I was in New York, it's been quite a while, and the store wasn't open then, so it's been quite a while. So it was Nintendo World Store last year. Or maybe earlier this year, they renamed it to Nintendo NYC and kind of relaunched. And so I wanted to get by. It's over off of Fifth Avenue, Rockefeller Center. So I went, check it out, and it was really cool. I kind of expected more. We were talking about this before the show. It's the only retail Nintendo store in the country. Mm-hmm. So, I expected it to be, I guess, to be a little bit more than it was. It was really cool what they had. So they had, and I got a bunch of pictures. If you guys follow me on Twitter at NeoLego, you'll see some of them. But they have like Mario and Donkey Kong you can kind of get your picture with. But they have they have a display upstairs. It's a 2-story building, and so they have a big area where you can play, like big screens where you're playing. Mario Kart was out there and Splatoon was out there, and so you can play. But then they have like these cases, and they have basically every piece of hardware that they've made. So from the NES through all the way to the Virtual Boy, GameCube, N64, it was all there. And they have like a really cool big cart with all of the Game Boys, Game Boy Colors, Game Boy Advance, and they have that one Game Boy that's pretty popular that was from the Gulf War that was nuked, but it still works. And so they have that powered on and playing. I think it was Tetris
still
or something.
Playing. Jeez.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's still playing. So, so it's kind of cool. They had the puppets from a couple years ago at E3. So the 3 Star Fox puppets and the Miyamoto puppet from that presentation in a case. They have every amiibo that you can get, and so it was cool. My biggest problem was that there's very little stuff that said like Nintendo New York on it. So I got a coffee mug. Got a coffee mug that was really cool. And then oh crap, where's my hat? I got a hat that I love. So let's see if we can see this. So this is the it says
Where one comes to
play, Nintendo New York, 1889. It's got little gold Mario here on the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is cool. So I love my hat. But there were shirts and stuff that said Nintendo New York, but not a lot of like really exclusive kind of stuff, which I was hoping to get some cool stuff. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
It sounds to me like when you went there, it was kind of like a Toys R Us, but you were expecting like Willy Wonka's factory. Like you wanted Miyamoto to come out with the cane,
That's
and then roll down. And...
that would have been awesome.
Right.
No, look. So I called the guy over and I'm like, look, I have kids. I don't want to buy them a T-shirt because they're going to outgrow it in a year. That's just wasting my money.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm not going to buy them a coffee cup because they don't drink coffee. So like, what do you have that says New York on it? They have a lot of stuffed animals, but none of them were branded, with a tag that said New York or anything.
Sure.
He's like, we don't have nothing. I'm like, how hard is it to put like a little, like, imagine the Empire State Building, but instead of King Kong, Donkey Kong's on top of it. I mean,
Like
that's
a good
so
idea.
cool, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Or how about Princess Peach holding a flaming torch like the Statue of Liberty?
Sure.
Like, how hard is it to make these kind of things? The manager actually told me that almost everything that they sell is not exclusive. It's all from Japan, and they sell it pretty much everywhere in Japan.
Sure.
They just don't sell it everywhere in America because of merchandising rights.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically just box everything up from Japan and send it over here. So it's not like it's manufactured to be sold in New York. It's mainly just manufactured to be sold in Japan, and they just give it through their store. So I'm like, that's not a good enough excuse, but whatever. So I got a hoodie and I got a hat. So it was a lot of fun. But
did they have any Nintendo licensed tasers or maybe switchblade knives or anything you could take home to your kids?
No. I was looking for like the like the mushrooms,
Oh, sure.
the New York mushrooms to bring home, but they didn't have any of those. So I found those. I found those outside of the store, down the alley. So
same thought.
So anyway, that's it. I literally just turned my Xbox on for the first time today, and I played a little bit of Madden. So just kind of, I'm looking forward to jump back into Battlefield this weekend. And
see,
and
me and you,
Titanfall,
man, we got to hop back into Gears, man, because we have to finish that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's mainly been Pokemon Go and just New York and eating bagels, and it's been great.
The game of life.
Gotta eat those Bengals.
Right.
Yes. Not the Bengals. Not the football team.
Those Bengals beat the Jets.
Good to know.
I'm not even a Bengals fan, so.
But actually, speaking of Gears, though, Chris, like maybe tomorrow night or whenever we should sit down, and just start playing through it and probably knock it out pretty quick.
I agree. I'm ready.
As for gaming, like I was saying, kind of with you, my week has just been like the game of life, man. I have hardly no time at all to play video games. My wife and I played some Lego Dimensions. We're getting a little farther into it, and my wife loved Disney Infinity. We started playing through Lego Dimensions, but now we're at a certain point where she's kind of getting annoyed with how many like puzzles and moving those stupid things around on the board. She's kind of getting mad.
Yes.
And so, but we decided to hop into hopped into the Adventure Time levels, where they don't really have that. It's mostly just like hack and slash levels. She's having a great time with that. We just played some of that tonight. But I mean, that's pretty much the extent of my video games since last week. Like that's it. That's all I did, which is sad.
That's from the new season.
Yes.
So do you have any of the other sets, or is it just Adventure Time?
When I bought it, we got the core set with the game, the Adventure Time set, and then we got the Scooby-Doo pack, which has, I guess, some kind of levels in it, but not like a full-on adventure.
Okay, so I'm wondering if they heard me screaming for the last 12 months and actually fixed that crap with the new releases. So
that's what I've heard. I mean, people that play a lot of this stuff, like our friend Andrew, who buys every single Lego Dimension.
Only if it's full price.
Right, that's right.
That's right.
Hear that, Andrew? We're talking about you.
Hashtag full price.
Hashtag full price. But he told me that he loves Lego Dimensions, and that the new ones they're getting away from the moving around on the board. I think they know
I may have to
they made a mistake.
Pick one up.
Yeah,
I may have to pick some of the new stuff up because I've seen some that interest me, but I had a deep hatred for that game.
Yes.
So does each set have a different gameplay style to it?
No, it's all hack and slash
Not
and
really,
puzzle
no.
solving. It's all
Okay.
It's the same Lego formula, but what they did, Brant, with the first season at least, because I haven't played any of the second season. I bought a lot of the first season because I'm a big Lego fan. My Twitter handle is Neo Lego. If you didn't pick that up,
good point.
But what they do is they make you do like, for instance, in order to get to a certain place on the map, you have to maybe put your guy in a certain color. So you have to walk over to the portal. Yeah, so the little portal that's there, it has three little different sections, and so one may be yellow, one may be blue, one may be red. And so if your Batman's in yellow, but he needs to go on the game to where it's red, you have to physically pick him up and move him on the red, and then on the screen he'll pop up on the red.
That's odd.
But now imagine doing that for about an hour and a half level every 5 freaking minutes.
Yeah, no joke. It's literally all the freaking time. So what we did when we
worst.
play, we have this little nightstand thing. We move it out to the center of the room, and we pull the thing as close as we can and sit it right in front of us. So while we're playing, I'm just moving it. I mean, it's all you can do.
That's such a pain in the butt, yeah.
But, okay, Brant, what have you been playing, man? Anything interesting? Any more VR stories? Any more puking and spinning?
Okay, we'll take this as the VR talk since I'm a VR expert on this panel here.
You are?
I finally got to Until Dawn Rush of Blood.
Oh,
and
awesome.
I have to say, that's probably my favorite VR game.
Cool.
It's very immersive, and it's a lot of fun. And it probably syncs the best all the other games I played, so I don't really have problems with motion tracking. And there's some really frightening parts of that game. Like, it really immerses you in the atmosphere. And it's really cool. If you have a VR set, a PSVR, because it's only on that, pick it up because it's only $20, and it's worth it. It's one of the better VR experiences.
So pretty much, they'd say, "Don't turn around," and you turn around, and and Chris is running at you, going, "Hate."
David Pumpkin.
My goodness, yeah.
Let me ask you. So, Forward Unto Dawn, not Forward Unto Dawn. That's a Halo thing. What was the game called? Until Dawn.
Yes.
$400. Whatever. There's more hate coming from PlayStation fans now because I can't remember the name of their stupid games. So it was like a third person, right? Like a third person kind of adventure type game. Like you walk around and
Until Dawn was it's like a much better Telltale game is the way I would say.
Can we shut his mic off? Is there a way to do that?
I've heard about the same.
That's the thing.
Cool.
I like Telltale games, but this one, the graphics are it doesn't have any frame rate issues or anything. It's like a prettier version of a Telltale game, and the decisions you make actually have good lasting implications. I haven't finished Until Dawn. That's another game that I'll probably have on my Brandts backlog at some point.
Now, Chris.
So I guess. Wait, hang on.
Yeah,
so I guess my question, because that's what I thought it was, like a Telltale, like a third-person adventure. So how does the VR play the same way? Are you still third-person adventure, or is it set up a different way?
No, this game is its own beast in general. It's first person, but it's a light gun shooter. You're not walking around on rails the whole way through.
Oh, got it.
But it's cool when you look around. You can see your feet made up feet in the actual car, and you can see your made up shoulder, and you can look behind you, and 360 degrees in all directions.
That's awesome.
And there's actually it isn't really a spoiler, but there's this big there is this big monster you face at the end that sort of does have a Chris-like face to it. So that's that.
So it's awesome.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, I'm assuming if you've ever been to Disney World and you know that Buzz Lightyear game, you're sitting in the car and you're shooting stuff. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that.
It's like
in
that.
VR, right? Only Chris,
but
you wouldn't be able to play it.
But things actually pop up in front of you, and like the lights will go out. Then they'll come back on, and something will be right there in your face, and I was like, man, I let some things fly sometimes.
Yeah, Chris will
freaks you out.
I was saying Chris will be playing the game, right? And he'll be like, man, this game is so realistic. It feels like I'm sitting in a big bowl of pudding.
VR experiences on VR are the best. Like, I can't wait until Resident Evil 7.
It's gonna be crazy, man.
Biohazard.
But
that's gonna be absolutely terrifying.
Any other games you play, man? Before we hop into our...
I didn't hit on BioShock the collection last week, and I just wanted to throw that out there because I do have that, and I've been playing through one. I'm probably 3/4 through, and those games are
so good.
Master classes. Yeah, you can't go wrong. I can't wait until I get back to Infinite because that's probably one of my favorite games of all time. So.
Yeah, it's so good.
And then I'll probably have some update on Skyrim because I bought the remaster.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Just because I love that game, and
I'll just
really
wait for
got
the Switch
too far
version.
in it.
You shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth, man.
You shut your dumb mouth.
Well, it'll be like 480p.
10 frames a
It'll
second.
be like on a straight path.
You'll be waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. A long time.
But yeah, I mean that's about it.
Cool.
Are we going into the Brandts backlog?
That's exactly what I was going to jump into that. If you guys remembered on our last episode, Brandts started a brand new section called Brandts Backlog, and we put a poll up on our Twitter page saying which game should Brandt play, The Order or Thief. And we have our results after 18 votes. So guys, need more votes this next time. Make sure to vote. Go and vote.
Let me know.
83% voted for The Order. So that will be your next game. Now we expect on our next show for you to come back and tell us play by play your Order
this
experience.
This is supposed to be a 5-hour game, so
you can beat it. You should be able to knock it out quick.
Yeah.
Now,
I
do you still want to play Thief after that?
Yeah, I want to play it, but this game is 60 gigs. So once I can wipe that off, I can I'll probably install Skyrim. Okay.
Now, Brant, you know what might actually be a really good idea? What we should do? You beat The Order, right? And now next time we'll have Thief versus another game. So whichever one loses, we'll keep in the running.
Yeah.
We could do that.
So like a battle of the bands sort of thing.
Right. So The Order one this time, we'll knock it off our list. Once you finish that, let us know. We'll add another game to the list, and we'll have people vote on that.
Yeah. And just for everyone's information, roguelikes will not be on there because they technically can't be completed in a proper way. So I'm talking about single-player experiences. So
cool.
Fair enough.
Well, okay, guys, that's what we've been playing. But now we're going to bring back a section that after last week, we got a lot of feedback. This was the #1 section people wanted us to bring back. Our money-saving section and what we call My 2 Cents. Now, there's some pretty good deals.
They need those deals, man.
They absolutely need those deals. They need to save some money, man. If you're like me and Brant, you don't have a lot of money in your pockets. Got to save that change. When you go to Taco Bell and buy your $1 taco and you have that little bit leftover change, and you save it in your little jar, you can get it out and buy stuff. Okay, right now, I'll let you guys know, over at Toys R Us, if you are big into Pokemon, all Pokemon games, all of them, are 20% off now through November 19th. So if you want to play some Pokemon games, save some money, 20% off all Pokemon games. So it makes them like, I think, $30. So you save about $10 on a Pokemon game. Right now, Target through November 5th, so you don't have as much time, you still have a little bit of time. Target is having a buy two, get one free on all video games and board games. I don't know if it's like a mix and match deal or not, probably not, but if and this includes all games, so even the new ones coming out like Titanfall 2 and all that, those are all included. So you buy two, get one free on all video games through November 5th. Check that out. That is awesome.
Cool.
And last one I want to bring up here, because we didn't talk about it on the show because, life happens, but Amazon Prime, if you are an Amazon Prime member, now every single month you get free games with Amazon Prime. So for the month of November that's coming around, This War of Mine, the Anniversary Edition on PC, you can get for free, and Punch Club, which I have no idea what that is, but you can get that for free.
Okay.
Also, if you're a part of Amazon Prime, they're going to give you free DLC every month. And in the month of November, you're going to get some Watch Dogs 2 DLC. It's going to include a Twitch hoodie, an XP boost, some pixel art skin packs for characters, vehicles, weapons, and drones, and then the Guts, Grit, and Liberty skin pack for all characters and vehicles. Now, because most of the Amazon Prime stuff is for PC, I'm assuming all this Watch Dogs 2 DLC is for PC. It doesn't say, though. Maybe they'll give you a code for consoles. I doubt it. It's probably just PC. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can get some free stuff. So that is awesome. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
But, okay, Brant, do you have anything else you can think of off the top of your head before we move on?
I do.
Okay.
I'll be the PSN master deal person. But there's a Sale of the Dead going on right now.
Right.
Sale of the Dead.
And it's week 1. So they will have one next week.
Cool.
So you can pick up some of the highlights. I think Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 are on there for almost 50% off.
Awesome.
And a few other highlights. So go check that out.
Cool. And I know that, if you're listening to this late in the week, I'm sorry you'll miss out on it. But these run through, I think, Monday.
Tuesday.
I'm talking about for the Xbox. Because on Xbox they also have a Halloween sale going on. Same thing. All the Resident Evil games are on sale. Alien Isolation is on there. Pretty much, there's just a lot of really good horror games on there. So if you're a fan of that, check it out.
Yes, and it's not on sale, but just go buy Costume Quest 2.
So good. Actually,
awesome.
Believe it or not, bring up Costume Quest 2. If you play games on PC for Steam, you can get Costume Quest 1 and 2 for $6. It's in a bundle.
Oh,
Dang.
So yeah, go check it out.
buy.
Costume Quest 1 and 2 are absolutely amazing. And even if
Maybe
you
that'll
miss the
be on my
sale,
backlog next
yeah. Even if you miss the sale, buy those games because Double Fine is amazing and their game's just awesome.
Yeah, love Costume Quest for sure.
Awesome. Well, with that, guys, we're gonna hop into our news section and what we call Captain's Log. For the Xbox news, there's not a lot of specific Xbox news. However, Microsoft just held a special conference where they showed off a lot of new stuff. They showed off their first ever PC. They're now making their very own PC, which is pretty cool. But actually,
It does look really cool.
Yep, but it's like $3,000. So if you have a little bit of money to drop, go for it. But on the cheaper side, at least compared to $3,000, Microsoft announced that they are going to start getting their own VR headsets, starting at $299. Now, right now, they're only planned for Windows 10 PCs. But honestly, with Scorpio around the corner, and they said VR will be possible on that, I'm pretty sure these are going to come to Xbox One Scorpio. I wouldn't see why not.
Safe bet.
Yeah.
And now, the interesting thing with these headsets, they're kind of doing what Valve did with the Steam Box. They're having other companies build these to their specifications. So right now, Acer and Asus are both making headsets. The interesting thing, Oculus wasn't listed on the group of people making headsets, which is kind of strange because the Oculus, at least so far, has kind of always had a connection to Microsoft because every Oculus comes with an Xbox One controller. So they kind of made that connection, so it was kind of strange they didn't bring them up. Maybe they have a special deal with them in the future. Who knows? But the one thing I found interesting about their headsets, like with the PSVR, with the Vive, you have the cameras facing you to track you in 3D space. However, these headsets have their sensors on the inside facing out. So you don't need cameras for these. The cameras are actually on the headset itself, so it always knows where you are in 3D space, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, I know you said you had no interest in VR, but when I told you this, you're like, hey, this is great. Now, is that just because it's Xbox related?
No, and be clear. I never said I don't have any interest in VR. I said I don't.
You don't have any interest in
expect-
PlayStation VR.
I definitely don't have an interest in that. No, I said, and I still stand by. I don't think it's ever going to be a wide mass market consumer product.
Sure.
And we had some people on Twitter, tell me that. Oh, well, it's being used, for different medical reasons and, blah, blah, blah. What I meant,
our fans, blah, blah, blah. I don't even care what they say.
What I meant, because if there's anything that can be said that can be taken out of context, that the internet is the place to do that. What I meant was that I think as a gaming apparatus, I do not ever think that you're going to have how many units, console units has PlayStation sold? Like
the actual system
30
itself,
million,
something like that.
It's like 45 million.
The PS4, right? Like 45
million.
I do not think that we at least in this generation, and I would probably argue for the foreseeable future until it's dirt cheap. I don't see 40 million VR headsets going into homes around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I just
That's
don't.
That's not their target though.
No, and I understand. I'm trying to clarify what was taken out of context last week. I do not think it's going to be a mass market, gaming apparatus that every house is going to have a VR.
Sure.
Now that being said, my biggest barrier of entry is I don't have anything to play it on right now. I have no computer that's capable.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox One is not capable. The Wii U obviously is not capable. I don't have a PlayStation.
On,
so when I said I don't have interest, like I don't have interest in buying a PlayStation and a PSVR just to have the VR experience. When I said, we talked about about Microsoft coming out, it just, I'm a PC guy. I have a Windows computer. I have a Windows laptop. My work laptop is Windows. I love Xbox. I love the interface there. Mm-hmm. I love Windows 10. So giving me a VR that's going to be, is going to basically work with that built, OS, that's great. And, if they dumb it down to maybe allow for maybe even lower end specs, mm-hmm. as opposed to what the super high specs are right now, like, you could see that. I don't necessarily have to play Fallout 3. I mean, you look at a game like Job Simulator, and that game is relatively simple game in design. So maybe they could run that on a lesser machine. But then, more to your point, that speaks to what we're looking at for Scorpio, which is where I'm looking at getting into the VR market.
Now, Chris, I will say, I can't remember if it was Oculus or Vive. One of them came out and said that they were lowering the required specs on their headsets.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember which one it was, but one of them said now if you have a lower spec computer, it'll still run it. Now, I don't know how well it runs it, but they say it's now a possibility. I'm assuming as they kind of patch it, and make it more streamlined, it's going to be able to run on lower and lower spec PCs, which would be nice.
Sure. So the one thing that I was really excited about when I looked at because you sent us the link and I clicked on it and looked at it, I liked it. If you look at the demo unit they showed, there was only one cord coming out of it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which the one of the things that I don't like is just because I've played the HTC Vive and just seeing stuff on Oculus and even stuff on PSVR. There's a lot of cords and a lot of extra crap that go with it.
Sure.
Like I literally just want to plug in an HDMI cord to a flipping computer and just go to town.
Mm-hmm.
And so the easier they can, to be honest, what I want is a wireless experience. But we're definitely years from that happening. But yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that excites me, making it a little cheap. And then they said it's going to retail for $299, which will make it the cheapest VR available as far as like full-fledged VR. So we're looking at now prices coming down. We're looking at being a little more user-friendly because there's one cord. Like all that stuff gets me excited. Plus it's on the system that I use, which is Windows 10. So,
sure.
This would actually make me probably jump in before Scorpio because I think they said they're looking at launching this in the first quarter, right?
They said spring 2017.
Okay, so
but
spring.
also real quick, just to throw in there, Windows 10 in spring 2017 is getting a major upgrade. And all PCs are going to get the ability to do 3D printing and a bunch of other really cool stuff. It's going to get built into Windows 10, which is really nice, outside of just the VR stuff.
Yep, I love it. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, at this point, I am excited. I still think that my full VR experience is going to come with whatever Scorpio brings me.
Sure.
But if they give me, a $300, like a really nice crafted $300 VR set that I can plug up to my laptop, which is a mid-range laptop, and use it to do even just small type experiences, or crap, even just watch Netflix. Like, I mean, I think that'd be super cool. I mean, I think it'd be super cool to sit on a plane, because if you look at that thing, it looks like small enough you could fold it up and put it in a bag. And if it's just one HDMI cable, I mean, sit in a freaking plane with a VR on your headset watching Netflix. Like,
what else you can do on a plane? You can set up the Nintendo Switch, and pull the little Joy-Cons off, and play them on the plane.
No.
But okay.
Snakes on a plane.
Right. Well, Brandt. Okay. Speaking of things going off the rails. Something happened with a little company called Hello Games. Now, do you want to tell us about what happened? Like, what's going on, man? Because a lot of news has been going on about this.
Supposedly, their account was hacked. And the simple message, what was it?
No Man's Sky was a mistake.
Yeah, No Man's Sky was a mistake. Now, from all the hate swell that's generated from this game,
just a little bit.
I don't know what to say about this. It's just people letting their hype get to them, and it's totally ruined the hard work these people have done. This 12 or 13 people, and sort of sickening how it's unfolded for them. Sean, it's been stated that it was probably hacked. It wasn't him saying that. From variable other sources, it seems not to be him. But it goes back to a certain etiquette for us gamers that we just can't, expect the world from these games like a second coming of Christ, And
yes.
Yeah, it leads to another underlying problem. So hopefully we've all learned from this and just, respect what the developers have a little empathy, and, move forward with it.
Sure. And with it, it's kind of interesting because it all started this morning. It was like around 8:30 Eastern, I think. It was like pretty early in the morning when this tweet went out. And then all of a sudden, I guess all these emails started going out to all these like news outlets and stuff, and they were specifically from Sean Murray himself, saying, "Oh, some of them said, oh, they were me, and I'm just upset, and I can't believe we made this game." Other ones said things like, "Oh, it was a disgruntled employee," and then eventually Sean Murray came out and said, "No, our Twitter was hacked, my LinkedIn was hacked, so they got into my email." Like it was, so whoever did this, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the rumor that I've heard coming in here was that David Pumpkins actually hacked the account.
With that,
So, yeah, that's a mess.
Yeah, what do you guys think about all? I mean, do you think it's the developer more their problem that this game has gone to these exponential heights, or is it us as gamers to shape up a little bit,
Sure, and I think honestly a lot of it had to well, it's kind of a mix of things. A lot of it was how long the game took to make, right? And so the hype built up for so long, and Sony pushed it, and Hello Games pushed it, and then when it came out, there were some pieces missing. And said, "Oh, by the way, it's coming. It's going to be free DLC." A little bit of time came out. "Oh, it's coming. And they said, "Oh, by the way, now we're charging for that DLC." So it's like they dug themselves a hole they couldn't get out of. But it's also the gamer's fault for letting their expectations get too high.
Yeah, I think that's wrong on both sides. And I have rose-tinted glasses because I got the game for free to review. So my biased opinion isn't going to be as much hatred as others, but I enjoyed the game. For what it was. If you go in expecting the lesser of what you think it'll be, it worked out. But yeah, I mean, Sean Murray should have not said some things about it. I think he let the hype overtake his emotions, and then when they didn't come through with some promises that disgruntled people, but still. Just hold things in check.
Yeah, I think the important takeaway from this, and pay attention, Nintendo fans. Keep your expectations low. That's all.
As you can see by the Switch news coming up.
See, I feel like Chris is like Lucy, and Nintendo's like Charlie Brown. He just keeps pulling the football out from under the fans.
Whatever.
And giving them rocks for Halloween.
Oh, Merry Christmas!
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown.
Now, speaking of expectations, one thing that's really taking off, Pokemon Sun and Moon is now the most pre-ordered game in Nintendo history. The demo alone has been downloaded 3.5 million times. So that's crazy. I mean, I'm trying to remember how many 3DSs were sold. Is it like 45 million or something like that? But still, I mean, it's the most downloaded demo on the system. It's the most pre-ordered game in Nintendo history. So that's awesome. And I played the demo recently. I actually didn't talk about that. I did play through the demo. It's pretty short. But the demo is... The gameplay is roughly the same, but they made it so cinematic now. Like in previous Pokemon games and 3D worlds, they made the people look kind of funny. Like they give them like fat heads and little bodies on purpose to kind of make it's hard to explain. But now
I think they're just from Arkansas.
But now they actually look like real people, and like the camera angles like zoom around and like zoom in on people while you're running, and like it's just presentation wise, it feels like a major step up for Pokemon. So I'm actually pretty excited for it. But let's hop into the news that Chris really wants to talk about. And that is the Nintendo Switch. Now,
switch it over.
It got announced, and Nintendo came out and said, we're not going to give you any more news until January 12th. So we know
that's all they've given us is news.
So pretty much what's happening, they said we're not going to unveil the price, we're not going to unveil specs, we're not going to unveil games, nothing until January 12th. So we have some time. But some facts have kind of leaked out. According to Eurogamer, they said that the screen is going to be a 6.2 inch screen and it's going to be 720p. Now, I will say there's a lot of people complaining about 720p, but if you think about it, I mean, it's 1080 on your TV, right? And if you cram, even if you have a big screen, 720p, and you cram it onto a 6-inch screen, it's going to look pretty sharp. I mean, a full HD 6-inch screen is still going to look really nice. Now, before I hop on to the next news, does that bother either of you? I mean, if you had a 6-inch screen, 720p, that's still going to look pretty sharp.
Yeah, I don't. Isn't that about what the iPhone is and other smartphones? What they display?
I think so. I know.
Yeah, I
it's
think
on the
something
same.
like that,
It's on the same general census with those
Sure.
devices, but I think it'll be a little better because it is a bigger screen and it'll be like an iPad or something, a graphical fidelity. But
right now,
you know, it'll be it's dedicated.
Sure.
You know.
Although a lot of these like the newer phones and stuff are getting the whole HDR and it looks like super, super bright and sharp. This, as far as I know, won't have that, but I still think it's going to look better than the Wii U screen. I think it's only like 480i or something. Like the Wii U screen is
No
pretty
doubt.
bad.
But let me say, dude, I think the Wii U screen looks great.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really
it's
notice.
gonna be fine.
Right.
The size is going to be fine. Resolution is going to be fine.
Now, Wii U screen size. I can't remember off the top of my head. Do you guys remember how big that is? Is that about 6 inches, or is that? I don't even know. I can't remember.
No. I think it's a little.
So maybe 5 inches, something like that. So
yeah,
you have it right behind you, right?
yeah.
Give us the specs.
No, he's actually measured it live, action on the show.
Look,
These are facts, people.
we got to give the fans. Everybody calls me a Nintendo hater. Look, all right, so I'm trying to give the fans.
Yeah, he has a tape measure too there.
So
what else do you have on that desk?
5.5 by 3.
Okay, so this is gonna be about an inch bigger, and it's gonna be 720p. So that's not bad. So think if you have a Wii U, think of it as a slightly larger Wii U tablet. Now the other thing that came out when they talked to Takayama, the new president over at Nintendo, he had hinted that the Joy-Con controllers on the sides are not the only attachments coming to the NX. There will be additional controllers you can stick onto the side of this thing. Now I don't really know exactly what that means. So maybe they have one that's just a D-pad. Maybe they have one like I don't know what all it could be. But that is kind of interesting that you can.
It's going to be a PR nightmare.
You can swap out the controllers.
Do you know what I want? You know what I want?
I want them that's not the Switch.
I want
Game
them. Look,
Gamepad?
Stop hating on. I look. We're gonna get into this. Okay.
So much unneeded hate.
I like. You guys are making people think that I hate the Switch.
Hey, they don't know what you say off the show.
No, you're just a hardcore. You just want the best. That's
right.
I want the best.
Your anger comes from the best.
This is what I want. I want special edition controllers that are themed after each of their controllers. I want an NES. I want an SNES. I want a GameCube. I want an N64. Yeah, like that's what I want. I want like an N64 with the yellow, camera buttons, and I want a GameCube with the beam buttons. Like that's what I want. That would be
that'd be pretty cool. That'd be actually
especially if they incorporate like a full virtual console.
But all those controllers are crap already, man.
Whatever. The Wavebird's still one of my favorite controllers of all time. But seriously though, like if they really go in, the one thing that Nintendo can do that really no other company can do is they have this vast, amazing library that people want to play. So give me a GameCube storefront where I can buy ports of GameCube games. I will buy the games again, and then let me buy freaking GameCube Wavebird controllers with the little clicky analog, buttons and the little beam things. And I'll
as long as you can play Double Dash and Luigi's Mansion.
I'll play Double Dash all day long, dude. All day long.
Mario Sunshine, great.
Yeah, all day long.
I do wonder if that was part of the reason that they never brought GameCube games over, because they mentioned they were going to do it. It never happened. And I think a lot of that had to do because the GameCube had those pressurized triggers, right? So for like acceleration and spraying the water in Mario Sunshine, you couldn't do that on Wii U because they were just kind of like, no feedback buttons.
No.
But okay.
And look, I'm pretty sure there's not a touch screen either.
Oh, actually, it came out from, I think it may have been the same Eurogamer report. They say it's going to have a multi-touch screen on it.
I do not believe that at all.
Okay. I've heard that from 2 sources, but that's okay.
Too reliable. Eurogamer's sort of reliable.
What is the touchscreen going to be for?
I have no idea.
For games.
But you can't interface games. You can't interface games if you're going to slide it in the dock and play it on the TV.
True, but there may be specific things. Like there's Wii U games where you can touch or you can use the analog stick.
You can maybe make it like the controller for the TV, the button, like a Wii U gamepad, but the buttons are on the screen. Maybe
if they put a touch screen on that, like that's wasted money, and that's going to shoot the price up way more than it needs to be. But that's fine.
$50 more.
Yeah. you see that look on his face. He's just so concerned. But okay, I have a lot of. Oh, I know. The other thing here is that, according to Chris and his quote unquote news sources,
his mother gives him
Wall Street Journal. The
game cards are going to be 16 gigs, which is about the same size as a single layer Blu-ray. Now, that could be an issue because most games now, around like 40, 50 gigs. The new Call of Duty, we talked about, if you go back and listen to our Xbox Dive show, go find that. The new Call of Duty is 130 gigs. If you get the version that comes with Modern Warfare Remastered. Or not Modern Warfare. Yeah, Modern Warfare. Yeah, Remastered. It's 130 gigs for that. So a 16-game card is not going to be enough.
Yes. So first off, because if you guys don't know, there is a verified Twitter account for, I'm gonna murder this name, but it's Takeshi Makazuki.
Okay.
And
you sound very majestic saying that.
Listen, if you go to Neo Lego on Twitter, I will retweet it. You can find it. But this person is the Japanese correspondent for the Wall Street Journal. Mm-hmm. So this is a verified news source. I'm not just making crap up. So just to get that out of the way. So I mentioned this when we were talking about expectations a little while ago. Mm-hmm. People that are setting their expectations to think that this is going to be Skyrim on a portable, this is going to be Mass Effect 3 on a portable, this is going to be Fallout 5 on a portable, or Call of Duty or whatever. Like, you need to get your expectations in check. Mm. That is not what this is going to be. Nintendo has been great, and really companies have been great. If you think about Xbox 360 did not have a Blu-ray drive. So think about the games that we got on the Xbox 360. Mm-hmm. And they were able, developers, it took a lot of work, but they were able to learn how to compress games. And so now that we're in this open market, especially with downloads, they're not worried about compression because that's not their concern anymore, because they don't have to necessarily ship it on a DVD. Now it's on a Blu-ray, they have plenty of space. Right. And especially when you get into like dual layer Blu-rays, they have plenty of space to ship that stuff. Mm-hmm. So what Nintendo was telling developers is, if you want to put your product back on our system, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to learn how to compress games. Mm-hmm. What this really speaks to is the relationship they're going to have with third parties. If you think you're going to get ports of all of the third-party games that come to other platforms, you are gravely mistaken. This is going to be just like GameCube, mm-hmm. just like Wii. You're going to get iterations of those franchises that are built for the Switch system that are going to be smaller in size, or at least compressed in size. I'm not saying they're better or worse. Mm-hmm. That's just what it's going to be.
Right. It is kind of interesting now that you mentioned it, because Nintendo has been very strange on their file sizes. Like when PlayStation started going to discs, more space, Nintendo stuck with cartridges. Then when we went to the GameCube, they finally switched to discs, but they used the little mini ones. They didn't use a full
mini
DVD.
Disc.
Then we went to the Wii, when we got to the Wii U, everybody jumped to Blu-rays. They're still on DVDs. So it's a very odd choice. Now, speaking of the 16 gig cart, if that's true, let's say, just hypothetically, they do 16 gigs, But if another company wants to come out and make a 32 gig card or something along that lines, because before the show we talked, and I was talking about how they've got 1 terabyte SD cards out now. So you can honestly, if you pay the money, you can get a bigger card. Let's say Nintendo games go into 16 gig carts and they're like $40, like a 3DS game. But then someone like Bethesda wants to make a bigger game, they're going to charge 60, they put it on a bigger cart. I mean, that's totally possible as long as Nintendo allows them to do that. Because if you remember back in like the NES days, Nintendo forced companies to buy their cartridges. I think they did it on N64 too. They forced them to buy their specific cartridges. But if they allow companies to choose whatever, size cart they want and then charge accordingly, I'd be totally fine with that. Like, let's say they have Splatoon or whatever. Yoshi's Woolly World 2, it's 16 gigs, buy it for $40. And then over here, I can still get, Fallout 5 or, Skyrim Remastered or whatever at 60 on a slightly bigger card. I'd be totally fine with that.
Sure. You pay the premium for it. And that's what they did on 64. 64 had, like, their games would range from 40, 50, 60, 70, $80. They had $80 games on the N64. People don't like to think about that.
100%.
Yeah. And so, but what happened was the actual format evolved with the system. And the same thing happened with DS and now with 3DS. Like, the cards that they started with were a certain size, and over the course of 2, 3, 4 years into the life cycle, they were able to actually see that the same price get bigger storage cards. And so it's going to be the same thing. Like, it'll start at 16. By the time the second or the third year into that system, you're probably going to see 32, 64 gigabytes. 6 for the same price that a 16 is now, and giving the developers the option of maybe buying a premium disc and then just charging you for it. And I agree, that's fine. But I will say, I do not think that's going to be the case. Like, I do not think you're going to play Fallout 5 on a Nintendo Switch. Like, I just don't think that's what this is for.
Sure.
This is not the one console. Hopefully, I feel like Nintendo has finally accepted their place in the market. Their place in the market is making amazing software on a unique system that's what people want to buy as a secondary platform. I will never, ever own a Nintendo platform as my primary console ever again. And there's no way they're going to be able to beat that.
Yeah, that's not what they're shooting for. And, Nintendo's, like you said, is over here doing their own thing. And, for me personally, since I haven't owned a Nintendo system since the N64, like I said, the initial announcement caught us all off guard. We were all thought this thing was awesome. Except, Chris, you weren't the biggest fan. But for me, someone that wants to see success from Nintendo, it was a godsend how they delivered this. And I thought they hit on all the right notes. And now it's sort of this trickling effect that you hear about these things like, okay, the file size, okay, this or that about the system. And, I sort of wish they'd all just get all that bad stuff out right away, hit us with that, and then we can build up that enthusiasm again instead of letting it trickling out for the next few months of this stuff that we don't really want to hear, because it's really going to down me on the system anyway until they announce the price point, which if it's $250, that's like perfect, I think, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think with the kind of hardware they're doing with brand new chipsets and all of that stuff, and they wanted to have it, somewhat top of the line for what it is, I'm expecting like $350. A lot of people say that's too high, but Nintendo has already come out and said we are not selling this at a loss. They just said they won't do it. So I don't honestly, I do not see them selling at $250. There's no way. It's got to be a minimum $300.
Yeah, I probably agree that I think 300 is going to be the number, but I also think 250 is what they should hit.
Sure.
And if they don't waste their time putting a friggin' touchscreen, a useless touchscreen on this, they can maybe get there. But
I'd pay $50 for a touchscreen, honestly.
No, honestly, I think because they said that Wii U physical games and 3DS physical games won't transfer over, but if some of those Wii U games, like the digital stuff, does transfer over, and you need the touchscreen, because if you remember a lot of the digital stuff, the screen itself and what you see on your TV is the exact same thing. So, if you had a game like that where it had touch in it, you'd have the option to do it.
Yeah, I think it's the wrong direction, but we'll see. This is really my problem with Nintendo. They are a software company.
Sure.
They're not a hardware company. They're never going to be in this space again. The Super NES days are gone. And so it's almost like they're forcing hardware into the market because they know that we're going to buy it, because they know that we want to play their first party software. I wish they would just eliminate the middleman and just give me their software on all platforms. That's what I want. I will buy a Switch on day one, even as ugly as that machine is, and I will play, The Legend of Zelda day one,
Sure.
and I'll play laying down in my bed with the Switch just because I can, and that's great. But what I really want is I want to be able to turn on my Xbox One with my favorite controller ever made and play The Legend of Zelda on an Xbox.
Sure.
Like, until Nintendo gets there, I just feel like we're missing. We're never going to have that true type of experience.
I'm with you. I'd love to play Legend of Zelda or Metroid on PlayStation platform, because that's where I game mainly. But like I said, I'm pretty much still in with the Switch, but I hope they leak more details soon.
Sure.
About
Now,
it.
actually, speaking of getting games on day one, now I don't know how either of you guys feel about pre-orders, but Bethesda has come out and said that they are no longer going to send early review copies out anymore. Now, this actually gets us into our topic of the week. Hit it, Brent.
David Pumpkin.
Any questions?
Oh my gosh.
That's what our episode revolves around. David Pumpkins.
Oh boy.
Pumpkins,
So
my
funny.
bad, plural.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting and brought up some good points about, companies getting early review copies. Some people are like, oh, Bethesda just being, why are they doing this? This is going to mess everything up. Now I can't get my review scores early. So I don't know if it was worth the pre-order or if I should buy it day one. So my first question for you guys, do you think other companies are going to kind of follow suit with this? Are they going to do the same things as Bethesda and say, hey, one of the heavy hitters is not doing this anymore. We don't want to do this either. Because as you know, if review copies come in early, some of these games aren't getting great scores.
Well, I think it's sort of opening the floodgates in a way, I think more developers will go with this route because it does affect sales in the long run, and that's what they care about. The good companies will still put out good games and won't worry about what review scores have to say. But in the long run, I think it's both. I think it'd be better anyway, so that way people might go away from pre-ordering more so that they're not let down by the game, as you could see with No Man's Sky. So that way you don't buy it day one, and you wait until you hear a review, and maybe that'll help your buying decision.
Now, do you think that the whole No Man's Sky debacle, I mean, these kind of stories, do you think this is kind of affecting how certain game creators are feeling about letting games out?
That's a rare case there of just overhype, and they're generally an indie studio with 12 or 15 people working on this massive game. So, like for Bethesda, they have hundreds of people probably working on this game, or Ubisoft. So, in the long run, it's gonna be good for the companies and for the consumers. I bet we just need, as consumers, we need to learn to vote with our wallets more and just wait. Maybe not buy something day one unless you absolutely know it's what you want.
Sure. Now, Chris, do you pre-order? Is that something you normally? I know you like to pre-order when there's like big items involved, like helmets and things like that, digital items or whatever. But are you a big pre-order person?
So I typically will only pre-order physical if there's really something that I want. I don't care about digital stuff, but like Titanfall, with the helmet, or like a really cool statue or a sculpture or something, I may look into doing something like that. So here's the thing: this doesn't affect me at all, because I buy the games that I want to buy, and I don't care what people think. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago when we talked about Power Rangers coming.
All right.
Power Rangers.
Listen, I have a no. Going back to our Switch conversation,
Mhm.
my expectations are here for that game.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to be the best game ever made. Will I buy it day one? I definitely will. If I read 3, 4, 5 sites, if I go to Metacritic and it has a 3 out of 10 or a 35 on Metacritic, I'm still going to buy that game because I've loved Power Rangers since I was a kid. That's just the way that I am.
Mm-hmm.
So what I like to do is I like to pre-install games because I'm pretty much a digital only
Mm-hmm.
person. As far as gaming goes. So for instance, like Gears of War, when Gears of War comes out and it's 50, 60 gigabytes, if I wait until day one or I wait and read a couple of reviews and then then I'm still waiting like a whole other day for that game to download and install.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made up my mind a long time ago after we started playing through the Gear series that I was going to buy Gear. So I pre-ordered it on Xbox Live. I pre-installed it. It was ready to go. I did that with Quantum Break.
Mm-hmm.
I did that with Madden. I did that with Forza. That's just the way that I am. So, but that's primarily due to installing it because I have to install everything that I
Sure.
get. If Nintendo didn't screw me out of my 3DS, I would have already pre-ordered Sun and Moon, and it would be ready to install.
Right. Okay.
And so so that's kind of where I am. So reviews don't really affect me. I'm typically like to read reviews sometimes just to get insight into what people think, but it very rarely really affects my buying decisions.
Sure. Now, Brant, what about you? I mean, now we know kind of how Chris feels, but how do you feel about review scores? Do they really matter? I mean, for all three of us, we've been writing review scores. So we kind of know not exactly what people do when they write reviews all the time for some of these bigger companies, but we at least have a general idea of what it takes to, to write reviews. But do review scores really affect your view on the game?
Well, Chris hit on it.
Mhm.
For games that you really care about, like Dynasty Warriors games, those are going to fall 70, 75, 65 range.
Sure.
So, and I gobble those games up like candy. I love those games. And if they could be crappy, I'd still play them. So.
Wait,
They are crappy and you still play them.
When you gobble them up like candy, are you wearing a pumpkin suit?
David Pumpkins?
David Pumpkins!
Woo!
Oh,
No,
my
but
gosh.
yeah,
Okay.
it goes back to what you're saying about the Dynasty Warriors games. I will play those. They're up to we're getting up to Dynasty Warriors. Where are we even at? I don't even know. But
Sure.
it doesn't matter about review scores in certain games like it doesn't really matter. Review scores, if it's a game I want, I'll buy it no matter what. But there are some others like some indie games that maybe I was looking forward to, but if they don't sell well or review well, then I'll just say maybe I'll wait until sale. It'll make a difference. But back to pre-orders, I'll pre-order a game from like Best Buy because I have Gamers Club unlocked, so it's 20% off a new game anyway. Plus, they have some awesome steelbook cases or collectibles sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only way I'll pre-order because they also have $10 off gift certificates you get for pre-ordering. So if it's special instances like that.
So you get 20% off plus an additional $10 gift card?
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
You'll get like a $10 rebate. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome what they can do for some games. Like for Final Fantasy 15, I wasn't thinking about getting that because I've been let down by them. But game actually looks pretty good. And I might just go in hoping for the best because they have all those deals with pre-ordering. So, in that instance, I probably won't look at the reviews first, but
sure.
Yeah, just depends.
And a lot of companies are doing that now. Like Amazon does the same thing with Prime, get 20% off. But I'm starting to kind of fall where Chris is, right? I actually like my games being digital because I can just sit on my couch, hit a button, my games pop up, I play it. I don't have to go look for the disc or whatever. And that's really nice. But if you're getting it digital, you don't get that extra 20% off, like with Best Buy, like with Amazon. That kind of stinks. But now, let's say this whole thing goes through and companies start following and they say, okay, we're not going to send review copies out anymore, at least not early, and pre-orders start to fall. What do you think companies are going to do to kind of offset this, to make people want to pre-order things again? Are they just going to be hitting us with more trailers? Are they going to give us more digital junk or physical items? Or what do you guys think? What would lure you in with the pre-order?
They're already doing some experimenting with some ways, like saying you can play this game 1 or 2 days earlier than everyone else, which is garbage in my opinion. Sure. But yeah, they're already trying to experiment with different ways just to get people to pre-order so they know they have that income wrapped up.
Yep.
It's sort of, I don't like the way they're going with it. As long as they keep it, maybe the brick and mortar or the Amazon and other shops keep the pre-order deals that they have, you know, make specific ones for different places. I don't like that either because it gets you, you can't get certain items if you pre-order from one store to another, which isn't convenient. But I mean, that's about as far as they should probably go with it. Because like I said, I like some of the deals you can get, but maybe make it more around the table where everyone can get it.
Sure.
Yeah, I just look. I think that pre-orders aren't going to matter for much longer, and I think that Bethesda is just going to be the first company in a line of companies to do this, because for me there are two ways to look at a game. I'm going to buy a game that I want to buy based on what I know about the developer, based on what I know about the genre, based on what I know about the license or the franchise, right? And if I decide I'm going to buy a game, we mentioned Power Rangers, mentioned Gears of War, whatever, the next Halo game, I don't have to think about it. I'm going to buy the next Halo game. Like, that's just the way that it is. Then there are games, for instance, like Doom, right? And Doom came out this year and surprised everybody. Right. And not a lot of people pre-ordered it because, you know, Doom is Doom. And it's I mean, you know, that
awesome.
I mean, it's been a long time, so they weren't sure if it was it was different, you know, it was being updated different, you know, and so it was like, you know, we'll see what happens. Great reviews started coming in, word of mouth took off, and that game, you know, became something good. No Man's Sky is exactly the opposite, right? Like No Man's Sky had high pre-orders, had a lot of people pumped. And then all of the backlash came, and it wasn't even reviews, to be honest. It was word of mouth. It was people on Twitter. It was people talking to each other, being like, this game is not what they said it was, being frustrated, going and doing user reviews on Steam. That is what kicked this whole thing off. I just don't think that critical reviews really amount to sales the same way anymore. Yeah, I think that word of mouth, I think, is what's going to matter. So I'm going to buy a game that I want to buy until they burn me. Okay, I bought every version of the 3DS that came out until they burned me, and now I will never buy another 3DS again. Right? I will buy a game. I will buy I will buy any game, whatever, until the franchise burns me. I bought Assassin's Creed until I bought Assassin's Creed 3. Yep. And Assassin's Creed 3 was a giant pile of crap, and I didn't buy any more Assassin's Creed games. Yeah. Because it was a piece of junk, right? So that's just how I am now. Now I've been thinking about jumping back, and the next time I see it on sale, I am going to jump back and get Syndicate, because
Syndicate is amazing.
Because we were talking about it. So this is what I'm talking about. Word of mouth is what's important at this point. So it doesn't matter. Syndicate could have got a perfect 10, but I hate Assassin's Creed now.
Sure. Right.
But I trust you, you know, and
I don't know if that's the best idea, but okay.
Well, I'll take it. Yeah.
Especially don't trust this Brandt guy.
Brandt's backlog.
Right.
Saying that out loud for sure. Yeah,
should we call Brandt's crap log?
But,
are you calling Syndicate crap?
But you know, but having somebody that you trust, or even like a group of people that you trust, or a group of people that you hang out with, and they say, "Hey guys, you need to check this out. It's really good." That's going to make you go buy it, not a site saying, it's because so many people still think to this day that reviews are bought anyways.
That's true.
You know, so it's like I just don't think it equates to dollars the way that right now the media is trying to spin it. I think that the media is worried because I think a lot of their traffic comes from reviews. But I think what Bethesda is at least flirting with is that they don't think that will equal sales for them. So,
And honestly, just to kind of tie it up, it's true. The internet is kind of a very fickle place where people like, if you have a review score, people are going to say, you didn't add these numbers together properly. This doesn't average out. This doesn't make sense. If you don't have a review score, people are like, where's my review score? I need to have a review score. So, and honestly, listening to IGN and GameSpot and all these other, big review sites and over the years on podcasts and things like that, they always say the same thing. People don't read the reviews. They click on the review, they scroll right to the bottom. They just want to look at the score. They just want a quick, okay, to the point. That's the only reason people look at scores. I mean, if people really want an in-depth look at a game because they are on the fence, they will actually read the review. If people just want to feel justified with their purchase, they're going to look at review score. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah. I would much rather go to a website and have a writer that I trust write something like why you should care about game X.
Sure.
And then write an article of like, hey, I beat this game. This game is great because of this, this, and this. If you like this, give it a shot. Don't score it for me. Don't try to make it critical. Just be like, this is the thing. And you find the writers that you like, and then you associate. That's what I do on Twitter. I follow the people on Twitter that I like and that we have similar taste. And when they tweet out, hey guys, I just played X game, you should check it out. Guess what I do? I go 100%. Check it out. I at least go look at it, because I trust, I trust them. So
right, and YouTube is a wonderful thing because video reviews are going up full scale. People would rather watch the gameplay and see what the gameplay is about than reading something, and then that's why video reviews are so important for many. That's why many publications are starting that more and more because people will watch those and I think it also helps because you actually see the gameplay and you'll get a better understanding if you want this game or not.
Right. And honestly, just to kind of to tie it up, right now, the way that video games are, if you read all the previews and everything before a game comes out, you know what you're getting. I mean, from reading some previews and things like that beforehand, even if you're not getting, early reviews, but they get some hands-on time in an event or something like that, you'll kind of have a general idea of where it's going. So it'll be interesting to see this shift in video games, how fans are going to take it. But I agree. I think this is just the way that it's going. Bethesda is probably the first of many, and it'll be interesting to see who kind of follows next. But with that, guys, speaking of YouTube, speaking of Twitter, you guys know where to find us. We have our videos up on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to that page. You can also find Life of Gaming on Facebook and Twitter at Life of Gaming Pod, so make sure to check that out. As for myself, you can find me pretty much everywhere on Xbox and on Wii U and Twitter and all that at Jamester0722. And Mr. Brandt, where can people find you, sir?
They can find me at _the_Brandt, MINUSTHEBRANT on Twitter, and that's my PSN name as well.
Awesome.
And that's it.
And Chris, where can people send their hate mail?
Send it to hashtag Chris was
James
right.
plus 12.
Okay. So no, I'm everywhere at NeoLego. So I actually even have a PSN handle if you want to find that.
Is it NeoLego as well?
So it is. Everything is NeoLego.
Neo Crapo.
Actually, my PSN, I haven't turned on my PSN for a long time. That is James plus 12. So boom. Well, with that, guys, we hope you enjoyed another wonderful episode, number 52. We are back. We are better than ever. Make sure to check it out. Tell your friends. Go on to iTunes and go on to the Google Play Store and SoundCloud and rate us. We would absolutely love that. Spread the word that we are back. Until next time, guys.
Back and better.
We are out.
This is David
Bye.
Pumpkins. Any questions?